Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can install Ubuntu's latest long-term service release 22.04.2 Jammy Jellyfish. Long-term service meaning that it comes with a guarantee of long-term support, providing you with up to 10 years of updates and security patches directly from Ubuntu. This means that with an additional 5 years of support, Ubuntu can also provide you with an extended security maintenance ESM option, which gives you another 5 years of critical security updates and fixes. That's right, you can get up to a decade of continuous support from Ubuntu, ensuring that your system remains stable, secure, and up to date, making this an ideal choice for both personal and professional use. Now, Ubuntu do have regular updates to their operating system. In fact, at the moment, we're on Lunar Lobster 2304, and they release a new version in April and October, so every 6 months. Each new release has an alliteration of consecutive letters. This means that you get some quite interesting names like Focal Fossa, Huristu Hippo, Jammy Jellyfish, Lunar Lobster. However, these updates don't come with the same 10 years of updates that the LTS versions of the operating system do. Now, you might be wondering, why do Ubuntu have an LTS version and an update every 6 months? Well, the LTS version provides reliability and support with incremental updates. And the incremental updates that Ubuntu provide every 6 months gives you access to new features and some experimental ones that might go into the future LTS version. So Ubuntu customers get the best of both worlds. You have a sturdy operating system on one hand that gets regular updates that you can rely on for up to 10 years, and if you want to try another one, you can play around with it, but you don't get the same life expectancy out of it. So you can see here that the Lunar Lobster only has a life expectancy for another couple of months, whereas the LTS version Jammy Jellyfish has it up to 2032. So if you wanted to try out an operating system, say you wanted to try out Lunar Lobster for example, and you wanted to try that before you installed it, try before you buy, so to speak, you can do so with a live image. So if you wanted to test some features in Lunar Lobster, you can boot to a live CD and the operating system will run without you having to install anything. So with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and install the desktop version of Ubuntu today. However, like all other versions of Ubuntu, it does come in a server flavor as well. This guide won't work the same if you're trying to install that version. I'm going to create a separate guide for the server side, and I'll link that down below once it's complete, or I'll add a link on the screen here. And that's just because the desktop version is designed with a graphical user interface, making it perfect for everyday use. So whether you're using a laptop or a desktop, the desktop version provides a seamless, user-friendly experience right out of the box. On the other hand, if you were a company or an organization looking to set up a string of servers, host websites, applications, things of that nature, the server version is tailored for your needs. And the reason I say that this guide won't work for you if you're trying to install the server operating system is because the server version comes without a graphical user interface by default, resulting in a more lightweight, streamlined setup, perfect for optimizing resources and maximizing performance. However, the setup process is slightly different. If you're installing Ubuntu on your laptop or desktop, I've got you covered. We have a separate video on how to make a bootable USB so that you can use that for a smoother installation process. After you create the bootable USB, you can just take that USB to the device that you want to install Ubuntu on and boot to the USB to start the process. Usually you hit a function key or delete. On a Dell it's F2, but it might be different depending on your laptop. For those of you who don't have hardware to install this on and want to use a virtual machine, I have a video on the beginning guides to VirtualBox as well to help you out with that as well. So the minimum requirements for the operating system on the VM are a 2 GHz dual core processor or better, 4 GB of system memory, 25 GB of hard drive space. If you are installing on hardware, so a laptop or a desktop, you will need a VGA capable 1024 by 768 screen resolution. It's also recommended that you have a 3D acceleration capable video card with at least 256 megabytes of memory. You'll also need a CD or a DVD drive or a USB port to install the operating system. And as always, internet is very helpful. So when you first boot into the ISO image, you'll be greeted with the grub menu here. To start the installation, just hit enter on the first option here, which is try or install Ubuntu. On the next screen, you can see the option to try or install Ubuntu, and this is what I was talking about earlier with using the operating system before installing. Basically, you have the full operating system that you can access the internet, create documents, anything that you would use an operating system for. However, once you restart, you lose all progress with the operating system. So anything that you've saved, anything that you've made alterations to, that's all gone. So we want to install Ubuntu today, so we're going to go ahead and choose the second option here. But if you do want to play around with any of the features before you install, you can select this first option here. Next, select your keyboard layout. I am English US. You might have something different. You might be one of those power users that uses Dvorak down here, but I am not one of them. Next up, you have the option to install a normal installation or a minimal installation. The normal installation adds features like music players, Office software, and that's LibreOffice, not Microsoft Office. And a minimum install cuts everything down, cuts all the fluff away. It has basic utilities, a web browser, and that's really it. It's really up to you what you want to go with, but I usually just do the normal installation because I like these additional features here. Next up, if you're connected to the internet as well while installing, I highly recommend downloading additional updates and installing third-party software. And it just saves time later on, so you don't have to run updates and find drivers and whatnot for your hardware that you've got plugged in. So it just saves time later, so I just go ahead and do this while we're starting up everything. So next up is, where do you want to install the operating system? Do you want to erase the disk, or do you want to do something else? Manually partition the hard drive. If what I said was absolute nonsense, just stay with the first option. Just make sure that you don't need anything on the disk because you are erasing it, because like it says here, all programs, documents, photos, music, any other files on the operating system will be deleted. So make sure that you back it up before you do anything before this point. Next is, where are you? And this isn't Linux trying to spy on you, they just want to know your time zone, and that looks about right for me, around about Sydney. Perfect. Finally, who are you? You can add a name for the computer, your name, your password. All of this is user specific, so you don't need to copy my details here. Finally, Ubuntu is just going to go through the installation. It's going to run some updates, and when we come back, you'll have the latest version of Ubuntu Jammy Jellyfish installed on your machine. Okay, and we're back after a few restarts and installing all of the updates. So let's go ahead and sign in for the first time. And there it is. We've got the Jammy Jellyfish wallpaper here. And that's really all there is to it. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that you've learned something today. I also hope that you get to play around with Linux and Ubuntu, and that you enjoy that 10 years, well, 9 years of support from Ubuntu from the LTS version. If you found this tutorial helpful, consider subscribing to the channel for more tech tutorials, tips, exciting content like this. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for joining me today, and until next time, keep learning, take care.